Fox News. Breaking news.
The United States Senate just passed a funding bill in the dead of night that completely defunds the agencies protecting your children from traffickers. And you heard that right. While you were sleeping, Senate Democrats stripped funding for ICE, Border Patrol, and the very investigators hunting down predators. Now, House Republicans are drawing a line in the sand, and one congressman is calling anyone who votes for this garbage a traitor to their country. The establishment media wants you to think both sides are equally to blame, but we're about to show you exactly who's selling out American security and who is fighting back. So let me tell you what this means for you and your family. Right now, there are Homeland Security investigation agents on the front lines rescuing children from trafficking rings. Under the Senate bill, their funding gets gutted. Border Patrol agents risking their lives every single day to stop fentanyl from flooding your communities? Democrats just told them they don't matter. And here's what the mainstream media will not tell you. This isn't about a budget disagreement. This is about whether America has a border at all, whether ICE defunded illegal aliens who commit violent crimes walk free. Rapists, murderers, human traffickers, they're all get a pass because Chuck Schumer and his Democrat cronies care more about protecting illegal aliens than protecting your family. The Senate passed this disgrace at 3 o'clock in the morning and then left town. They ran away like cowards while American families bear the consequences. This isn't a gridlock. This is a deliberate attack on American sovereignty. And speaking of protecting what matters most, let me share something personal with you. For years, Gary's wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis. Endless doctor visits, treatments that didn't help, watching her struggle daily. It broke Gary's heart. Then Jonathan Otto introduced them to red light therapy, and her pain vanished, her anxiety lifted, and she's sleeping soundly again. She's full of energy and life. And Gary's own recovery and vitality, it's better than guys half his age. This has been truly life-changing for the Franchi family. And here's the science behind it. Red light therapy is backed by NASA research and FDA cleared. Studies show rapid pain relief and cellular regeneration. And when everything else failed the Franchi family, this technology delivered real results. If you or somebody you love is struggling with chronic pain, fatigue, or just wants to feel younger and more energized, you owe it to yourself and to them to check this out. We're going to get back to the fight happening right now in Washington because this stuff is crazy. But here's what the mainstream media is desperately trying to hide from you, the American people. This isn't just House Republicans complaining. The Freedom Caucus held an emergency press conference calling out the Senate's betrayal. And Congressman Chip Roy from Texas declared the Senate bill laughably bad and said they're rejecting it out of hand. But it gets even better. President Trump has already said he'll fund TSA from existing funds, which means the Democrats' entire hostage strategy just collapsed. The House is about to send something back that includes voter ID. And let's see where these patriots are saying. Let's get into it. From Brandon Straka, we have McFarland said the DHS standoff dragged on despite little progress as the Senate passed a bill excluding border and immigration funding. Let's see.
This whole DHS, Department of Homeland Security funding standoff, this painful shutdown, which exacted pain on workers, on travelers, appears near its end. But this whole knucklehead enterprise really got us nowhere. While you were sleeping, the U.S. Senate finally passed its version of the bill, funds all of the Department of Homeland Security except the border and immigration part. Democrats say that's kind of what they were offering all along. Republicans could have met them there sooner. Republicans are arguing Democrats strung this out. It's pox in everybody's house, potentially politically, because people are just frustrated and really don't care about the politics sometimes when they're sitting in a 3-hour TSA line.
Could not agree more. But again, they won't do that because they don't want ICE in your neighborhoods. They don't want to deport the illegal aliens that they need to have counted towards their congressional seats. The Senate's version of the DHS bill lacks essential funding and leaves crucial security units without support. Chip Roy from Texas takes a bold stand, refusing to accept what he calls a laughable proposal. From himself, Chip Roy says the Senate bill is a non-starter. We'll send something back to stand with CBP and ICE Gov. Rather, perhaps other important provisions. We're not accepting the garbage from the Senate.
Hey everybody, it's Chip Roy here from Texas 21, and what the Senate just sent over to the House is so laughably bad, we're rejecting it out of hand. They sent over a bill that's not going to fund ICE and Border Patrol and stand with the great men and women who are defending our country. We reject that. We're going to stand alongside our law enforcement personnel. We're going to have a full-throated debate. We're deciding what we're going to do, but suffice it to say, we need to stand with those who are standing up for us to defend our country. We need to fully fund them. We need to consider voter ID and other things to make our country safer and better. But we're not going to move this Senate bill. We're going to move something better and send it back to the Senate. We have to.
Sometimes it takes patriots to do patriot stuff, guys, right? So Roy's rejection of the Senate inadequate bill is echoed by Rep. Eric Burleson, who highlights the disgrace of defunding trafficking investigations and calls for real action in voter ID inclusions. From Representative Eric Burleson, the Senate abdicated its responsibility. No funding for Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, which fights child trafficking. No funding for Border Patrol, no voter ID. Bad for America, bad for Americans.
Well, good morning. We can't believe that the Senate abdicated its responsibility this morning of not funding the Child Sex Trafficking Investigation Division of ICE, that they didn't fund the Border Patrol. I guess the Democrats want a wide open border. So what we're suggesting is that the only thing we're going to support is adding that funding into the bill, adding voter ID, sending it back to the Senate, make them come back in and do their work. The bottom line is this deal is bad for America. It's bad for Americans. The president has already said he's going to fund TSA out of funds he has. So it's not going to affect the airports if we don't do this today. Senate, again, it's up to them. They're going to come in a pro forma Monday or Tuesday. They could just pass out what we send back by unanimous consent, just like they passed something this morning at 3 a.m.
So, do you have approval from the Speaker, from Republican leadership on this?
Do we have what?
Do you have support from Republican leadership on this?
Look, we're not Republican leadership. What we're saying is that we stand united, that we cannot pass a bill here without funding for child sex trafficking investigations, for heaven's sake, and for Border Patrol. We think while we're at it, let's add voter ID in. The Senate Democrats have softened. I can't blame them because 85% of Americans think you should show a voter ID. Send it all back as a package. Let them deal with it Monday or Tuesday.
So the problem is Democrats know that it's an 80 to a 90% yes to voter ID, but why won't they vote on it? Because the Democrat people understand that it's necessary. We need to have this. They want this. They want to know who's voting. They want to know that every vote counts. And it doesn't matter what party you're on, what side of the aisle you're on. You just want to know that it's fair. And if I lose and Republicans lose, and we lose fairly, then we'll do better next time. Democrats lose, we know that it was done fairly, and we'll just do better next time. Maybe the message was wrong. But instead of that, they want to just flood it and try to pad as many things as they can. Democrats have an extra 30 congressional seats because of the illegal populations. They made the sanctuary states so the illegals went to certain states that they wanted. So when you have 30 million people coming in, 13 sanctuary states, those 13 states divided into 30 million, they're going to get an extra 5 seats a house, 5 seats per state. They shouldn't have that. But that's how they control everything. This is why they have to die on this hill, folks. I say this every time. Adding pressure, Andy Ogles lambasts the Senate Democrats for passing on America Last measure, urging a revision to protect the nation's safety and sovereignty. From Andy Ogles, he says, Senate Democrats coalesced to pass an America Last funding bill that defunds ICE and CBP. I would be a traitor to my country to vote for a bill that lets illegal rapists and human traffickers escape justice. Let's see.
So what the Senate did last night was they passed a bill that did not fully fund the government, meaning Child Sex Trafficking Investigation Unit isn't funded. They didn't fully fund Homeland Security. So we're focused on amending the bill and putting that back in, and we're going to add in voter ID in the process. They're cowardly, they didn't do their job, and now they left town. They should come back, and they should have to do their job.
We should recall every single one of them and make them come back and do what the American people want them to do. So here's what the establishment does not want you to understand. This entire manufactured crisis, and it is a manufactured crisis, was designed to force Republicans to abandon border security. Democrats thought they could hold TSA lines and airport chaos over our heads until we caved. But President Trump, he called their bluff. He's funding essential services while House stands firm on what actually matters. Protecting American children from traffickers, securing our borders, and ensuring only citizens vote in our elections, and stopping the fentanyl from killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. The Senate Democrats showed exactly who they are. They funded everything except the agencies that protect you. And that's not a compromise. That's a declaration of war on American sovereignty. And now they've fled Washington, hoping that you'll forget by Monday. And you know what? And to be honest, most Democrat base, they're probably going to forget by Monday. But Patriots, what we witness is the clearest example yet of why each party's priorities truly lie. Democrats will fund everything under the sun except the men and women protecting your families from cartels, from traffickers, and violent criminals. House Republicans are standing strong, and President Trump has their backs. This fight is not over, and the Senate has yet to come back and face the music. They can either fund our border security agencies and accept voter ID, or they can explain to the American people why protecting illegal alien criminals matters more than protecting American children. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Should the House hold the line on border funding? Let us know yes or no, and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss these critical updates. Share this video with everybody who needs to know the truth about who's really fighting for America. And check out the Next News merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. I'm Tom McCullough. Stay informed, stay free, and God bless.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.